Hello, and welcome to the How to Pass Colorado's Driver Test podcast. I'm Theodore Reynolds from Mindtree Exponential. At MindTreeX, we look for ways to enrich content to improve its ability to help students learn. Reading text is a lot like trying to eat a pile of raw vegetables. Enriching the text, say by turning it into audio content, throwing in some music, and adding a few sound effects, and bam, you got yourself some tasty ice cream. Well, at least, tasty ice cream for your brain. For now, here's a small cone of ice cream learning to help you pass the Colorado Driver Test. This is an enriched audio production of the official Colorado Driver Handbook. To get a free copy of the PDF of the Colorado Driver Handbook, and some other free toppings for your ice cream, please visit howtopassthecoloradodrivertest.com. Enjoy. 7. Understanding Colorado's motor vehicle laws. 7.1 Motor Vehicle Insurance Database Law. Effective January 1, 1999, a statewide database was established to track compliance and non-compliance within Colorado of motor vehicle insurance requirements. Vehicle insurance companies are required to submit on a weekly basis information on policies issued during the previous week. Vehicle registration offices also submit information to the database on vehicles registered. Should you be stopped by a police officer, if you do not have evidence of insurance in your vehicle and you are not listed in the database as having insurance, your license is subject to confiscation and suspension. You may request a hearing or present evidence of insurance that was valid at the time you were stopped at a driver license office. Evidence of insurance. Evidence of insurance includes the insurance company policy number, date of expiration, and vehicle covered, and must be in your motor vehicle while in operation. 7.2 Financial Responsibility Law. Compulsory Insurance. No owner of a motor vehicle required to be registered in this state shall operate the vehicle or permit it to be operated on the public highways of this state when the owner has failed to have a complying policy or certificate of self-insurance in full force and effect as required by law. The minimum insurance you must have, in addition to personal injury protection, is $25,000 for bodily injury or death to one person in any one accident, $50,000 for bodily injury or death to two or more persons in any one accident, $15,000 property damage coverage. In the event of an accident, evidence of insurance must be shown for all vehicles involved even if 1. The driver was not at fault in the accident. 2. The vehicle was parked. 3. There was no injury or damage to any other party. 4. The accident results in damages that are less than $1,000. The Motor Vehicle Division is allowed to accept the insurance information noted on the traffic officer's accident report or on counter reports filed with law enforcement agencies. The Motor Vehicle Division continues to have the authority to send notice for additional information to the driver if the insurance information is incomplete on the officer's report or if the report indicates there was no insurance at the time of the accident. 7.3 Colorado's Safety Belt Laws. Colorado's safety belt law requires that a fastened safety belt must be worn in all motor vehicles that were factory equipped with a safety belt system while in operation on public roadways by the driver, every front seat passenger, every child between the ages of 8 and 16 seated anywhere in the vehicle. Occupants in motor vehicles driven by persons under 18 shall be properly restrained or wear seat belts as required. For children, see Colorado's Child Passenger Protection Law. The only exceptions are emergency personnel, passenger buses and school buses, farm equipment, motorcycles, driver of delivery vans on the job, anyone carrying a written medical statement from a physician stating why she or he is not physically or psychologically required to wear the safety belt. Always wear both shoulder and lap safety belts low and tight. 7.4 Colorado's Child Passenger Protection Law. Children are required by law to be properly fastened into an appropriate child restraint system. If a parent is not in the motor vehicle, it is the responsibility of the driver to ensure that each child is properly fastened into one of the following: children less than 1 year of age and less than 20 pounds in a rear-facing child restraint system in a rear seat of the vehicle. Children 1 year of age or older, but less than 4 years of age and less than 40 pounds in a rear-facing or forward-facing child restraint system. Children under 8 years of age being transported in a motor vehicle in this state shall be properly restrained in a child restraint system according to the manufacturer's instructions. Children at least 8 years of age but less than 16 years of age being transported in a motor vehicle in this state shall be properly restrained in a safety belt or child restraint system according to the manufacturer's instructions. According to the National Safety Council, never place an infant in a rear-facing child safety seat in the front seat of a vehicle with a passenger side airbag. Children should ride in the appropriate child restraint system in the back seat. This eliminates the possibility of airbag-related deaths or injuries, and studies show that children are up to 29% safer in the back seat. 7.5 Colorado's Graduated License Law. Colorado law requires a minor applying for an instruction permit to hold that permit for at least 12 months and submit a log of their driving experience at the time they apply for their license. They must show 50 hours of driving experience, 10 of which must have been at night. Once a minor gets their license, the law also places restrictions on drivers under 18. 7.6 The duties of occupants of vehicles involved in accidents resulting in personal injury. If you are a passenger in a vehicle involved in an accident where the driver is physically incapable of reporting the accident, you are required to report the accident and, if directed by police, to remain at the scene of the accident until police arrive. Failure to do so is a Class 2 misdemeanor traffic offense. 7.7. Using a cell phone or mobile telephone while driving. Colorado law prohibits drivers under 18 years of age from using a cell or mobile phone while driving, unless it is to contact the police or fire department or it is an emergency. Drivers 18 and older may not use a cell or mobile telephone for texting while driving unless it is to contact the police or fire department or it is an emergency. 7.8. Toy vehicles prohibited on a public road. Toy vehicles include, but is not limited to, gas-powered or electric-powered mini bikes, pocket bikes, kamikaze boards, go-peds, and stand-up scooters that are not designed, approved, or intended for use on public roadways or highways. 7.9. License plates. Any motor vehicle owned by a Colorado resident cannot be parked or driven on a public street or highway unless it is properly registered in Colorado and displays Colorado license plates. If you own a motor vehicle, you must register the vehicle in the county in which you live. The signed registration card must be carried in the vehicle or in the possession of the operator whenever the vehicle is being operated. The license plates must be fastened horizontally in a manner to prevent swinging at a height of at least 12 inches from the ground. They must be clearly visible and kept clean and legible. Vehicles must have plates attached to both the front and rear of the vehicle. Exceptions. Motorcycles, trailers, and semi-trailers must have one plate attached to the rear. Semi-tractors must have one plate attached to the front. Temporary paper license plates should be attached in a place clearly visible on the rear of the vehicle. Any change of address or name must be reported within 30 days to your local county motor vehicle office. If you are moving into Colorado, you must obtain new license plates within 30 days of establishing Colorado residency. 8. Driving under the influence. 8.1. Alcohol and driving. Drinking and driving is one of the greatest problems causing highway crashes. Every year, tens of thousands of people are killed in alcohol-related traffic crashes. Drinking drivers are more likely than other drivers to take excessive risks, such as speeding or turning abruptly. The drinking driver is also more likely to have slowed reaction times and may not be able to react quick enough to avoid a collision. It is also unlawful for someone to drink from or possess an open alcohol beverage container while in the passenger area of a motor vehicle that is on a public road. Alcohol is a depressant drug that affects the central nervous system, which affects the brain. It slows reflexes and reaction times while reducing the ability to make split-second decisions necessary to safely operate a motor vehicle. As the amount of alcohol in your body increases, your judgment worsens and your skills decrease. The amount of alcohol absorbed in your bloodstream is what causes you to feel the effects of drinking. This is called blood alcohol concentration, BAC. BAC is determined by a chemical test, usually of blood or breath. The driver with a BAC between 0.05% and 0.07% is presumed to be driving while ability to drive is impaired. If a driver BAC is 0.08% or greater, he is presumed to be driving under the influence. The BAC standards and penalties for drivers of commercial vehicles are more strict. See the Commercial Driver's Manual. Alcohol concentration in the body may be different for some people than others, even if they have consumed identical amounts of liquor over the same time period. Your BAC depends on several factors, including body weight, the period of time in which the alcohol was consumed, the amount of time since you had your last drink. It does not make any difference whether you drink beer, wine, or liquor. Standard servings of each have the same amount of alcohol. Per the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, a standard drink is defined as 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of 72 proof distilled spirits, all of which contain the same amount of alcohol, about 0.54 ounces. Food can slow down the absorption of alcohol. Drinking on a full stomach prevents large amounts of alcohol from going to your brain immediately. Once alcohol is in the bloodstream, the body gets rid of it through normal bodily processes. In spite of popular opinion, coffee, cold showers, and other so-called cures will not make a person sober. Only the passage of time will make a person sober. On average, after a person reaches a peak BAC, it will drop by 0.015% per hour. For example, if the person reaches a maximum BAC of 0.15%, it will take about 10 hours for them to eliminate all of the alcohol. 8.2 Drugs and Driving. Driving while under the influence of drugs is illegal and subject to the same penalties as drinking and driving. Besides alcohol, there are many drugs that can affect your ability to safely operate a vehicle. This is true for many prescription drugs such as tranquilizers, as well as over-the-counter medications for allergies and colds. If you are taking medication, be sure to check the label for warnings about its effects prior to driving. If you are not sure it is safe to take the drug and drive, ask your doctor or pharmacist about any side effects. Never drink alcohol while you are taking other drugs. Mixing alcohol and drugs often multiplies the effects of the alcohol and any other drugs. For example, one drink, when you are also taking an allergy or cold medication, could have the same effect as several drinks. Illegal drugs and controlled substances such as marijuana, cocaine, LSD, and heroin also affect your reflexes, judgment, and alertness, along with their many other dangerous side effects. These drugs can give a person a false sense of alertness and self-confidence, or make a person drowsy and unable to react to simple situations. 8.3 Express Consent Law. The Express Consent Law means that when you operate a vehicle within the state, you have already agreed to take a chemical test of your blood, breath, or urine to determine the alcohol and or drug content of your blood. The law is designed specifically to quickly remove the drinking or drug driver from the roads. If a law enforcement officer suspects that you are driving under the influence, or while your ability is impaired by alcohol and or drugs, he can require that you take a chemical test of your blood, breath, or urine. If you refuse to take the test or don't cooperate with the testing procedure, your license will be revoked for a period of 1 year. If other suspensions or revocations come about from this same incident, they will be added onto the end of the revocation consecutively. Because driving under the influence is so dangerous, the penalties for alcohol or drug-related violations are very tough, and DUI enforcement efforts by the police are a top priority that can include jail, fines, and suspension of your driving privileges. Colorado law does not allow you to plea bargain your way out of an alcohol or drug-related driving offense. The only sure way to avoid the consequences is not to use alcohol or drugs at all when you will be driving. 8.4. Any driver under the age of 21 convicted of DUI or DWAI is subject to revocation for the first conviction if they fail to complete a court-ordered evaluation or program. A second or third conviction is a mandatory revocation. 8.4a. Zero tolerance. Drivers under the age of 21 with a BAC of 0.02 but less than 0.08 are subject to a mandatory revocation of their driving privilege. 8.4b. Buy and possess. Any person under the age of 21 who buys or possesses liquor, including beer, is subject to mandatory revocation of their driving privilege, even if driving is not a factor. 8.4c. Supplying alcohol to persons under 21. The department must suspend for 6 months the driving privilege of anyone convicted of providing an alcoholic beverage to minors under 21. This includes providing identification for a minor under 21 to use to purchase alcohol. Before we go, I will just ask you to remember this. Millions and millions of people have already passed this driver test, or one just like it. You can pass it too. And listening to one of these podcast episodes every day will give you a huge advantage. So I expect to see you back here for the next episode.